how to put together this interior for the Tamiya Bug. This is the one that I've already painted up. I've loosely set the driver in. I still need to paint him before I glue him into place. But this is the full tub version. You can see the driver's got knees up. Will be glued in place to the seat so he won't fall out when we're moving around. We're going to be using the high clearance version for this video, just so you can get an idea of what the high clearance version looks like when it's all said and done. So we're going to set this aside for now, and we're going to start with this collection of parts that we have here. So this is your high clearance tub, your high clearance driver, which is a waist up. This is what we refer to as your top plate. Now the high clearance version has a steering wheel that has been trimmed down to fit properly, as well as the dashboard is just a little bit shorter than it would be on the full version. And then of course we've got our parts for the roll cage. Now one thing to note, the roll cage bars are not round. They are done that way to keep it easy to print and to keep the prints nice and clean. When you're assembling, the side pieces, the flat parts face inwards, as you'll be less likely to see them. And the main roll bar that goes over, you can see we've got some notches here for the screw heads to fit, and then the flat part on the back, which would face rearwards towards the back of the vehicle. Now to assemble the roll cage, we will use all 2.5 millimeter by 10 millimeter screws, and we'll get this thing together. So I'm going to speed you up so you don't have to sit here and listen to the drill. All right, and there you have it. That is the roll cage assembled to the top plate. It's very simple, easy to go together. You can paint it before, you can paint it after, you can leave it all the same color, whatever your preference is at this point. As you can see, we have opted to make the dashboard attached to the top plate. There's a few different options you can use if you don't want to use the tub because of clearance issues or whatnot. It leaves you with the ability to have a seat that has a bracket that will mount to the back plate, and then you can glue some cloth up underneath the top plate in order to give you a full interior without having to worry about the bulkiness or having to cut and trim around a tray if you don't have quite the clearance you need to be able to make it happen. So now that we've got this together, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to add our dashboard. The dashboard will use 2 of these 2.5 by 6 millimeter screws through the back just to hold it in place. All right, now you can see we've got our dashboard in place. Easy enough. Now next, before we start worrying about the rest of the tub, normally the steering column would be attached to the dashboard, but in the high clearance version, I opted to have it attached to the tray itself just to make it easier to print, for one. If I would have had the steering wheel as part of the entire assembly and it printed all as once, then you don't have the ability to make, different colors and kind of spruce it up a little bit. So now we've got the main parts assembled, and then you've got your driver as your last bit. You can see our driver will just sit right in place. Now from here, you will be gluing the rest of it together. Now you can achieve this through varying types of glue. But my personal preference is this stuff here. It's called 3D Gloop is the company, 3dgloop.com. And it's a contact cement that is specifically designed for 3D printed parts to give you the best possible adhesion. And the way it works, just like most other glues, you will start with, if I can get them to let go of the steering wheel. No, well, we'll just do it like this. You put glue on both surfaces to start. So I'm going to put them on the bottom of the driver. And then we're going to spread a healthy amount of glue down here on the print where he's going to sit. And then we simply just push it together. Apply a little bit of pressure and hold it. This stuff usually takes a few hours to fully cure, but you're not going to be pulling this apart after the stuff is fully cured. It's just, it's a very, very good formula that 3D Gloop came up with. Again, it's 3D Gloop. The Nano Gloop bottles are right around $5 a bottle. It's pretty cheap, especially if you're going to be working with 3D printed parts. Alternatively, you can use epoxy, shoe glues, regular model glue, whatever suits your fancy, but the 3D Gloop works the fastest and is the easiest to use with projects like this. All right, so now we've got the tub and we've got the interior. The interior is designed to be glued together as well. The edges of the tub, which is the reason why I did this in 2 colors, just to make it a little bit easier for you to see. The edges of the tub line up perfectly with the edges of the top plate. One thing you can do just to double check and make sure you've got it lined up, there's this little notch right here. You can use this notch to line up both parts, the top and bottom. And then on the leading edges right here, as long as these are flush, you are perfectly lined up with your tub to your top tray. All right, now we're not going to glue these together right now, but I will show you how the interior that I've already got finished goes into the body and how you line that up and fix it in place. So this is your high clearance option. So if you're running a larger transmission underneath this bug body, you're going to need more ground space, and this is going to give you all that clearance space underneath. And just for comparison, high clearance tub, and then you've got this right here, which is your full tub. It's considerably shorter while still allowing you to have that scale appearance inside your bug. Once it's in there, it's really kind of hard to see inside, but what you do see does give you a little bit more of a realistic look. So we're going to set the high clearance tub aside now that you see how that goes together. And we're going to grab this one and our body. Now, one thing to note on the body. If you look inside your body, you have these ridge lines right below the window. And then on the driver's side, you have this piece of plastic that sticks out. Now, if you recall, on the driver's side, we've got this notch right here. That notch is there intentionally. It lines up perfectly with this nub right here that sticks out on the shell so that you know you have the forward and aft alignment proper. Also, the sides of the top tray are designed to follow this ridge and sit right up on it once you have the interior installed. So, putting the interior in is as easy as setting it in place. We're going to look right down the crack of that notch and the body landmark to line them up. And the interior is now in place. as you can see, there's your driver, dashboard. The dashboard lines right up with the front of the windshield on the inside. If you don't have the clear windshield or the tinted windshield, there will be a slight gap, which you can use some body filler or something to fill it up, or just not mind that it's there. You can kind of see from underneath. Get this lined up again, there we go. How the dashboard lines up with the bottom edge of the window insert. All right, now, some of you are going to wonder, now how do we attach the interior to the body itself? Well, my personal preference is hot glue. So you take a hot glue gun and you're going to use a bead of hot glue right here where the body and the interior meet. Again, on the other side, you're going to run a bead of hot glue right here where the body and the interior meet. And then when you spin her around the front, you'll be putting a bead of hot glue right up here in this corner, a bead of hot glue in this corner, and then a bead of hot glue in the center to keep it all balanced out. Once you put the hot glue in, be careful not to nudge it until the glue fully dries. Once it fully dries, it will hold the interior in there indefinitely. Now, the reason why I like to use hot glue in installing my 3D printed interiors is if I decided the bug body got scraped up, I want to repaint it. You can take a hobby knife, scrape the hot glue out, and pull the interior out without damaging it, do all your body work, and then reinstall it with hot glue again when you're completely finished. So, in a nutshell, that, my friends, is your bug interior that works on this body. And again, this is the Tamiya Sand Scorcher or the Tamiya Monster Beetle body that this works with. The actual part number, you can find it in the description on the web store. There you have it. Pretty quick, simple, and easy. Thanks for watching. All right, we previously mentioned the no tub option. This is how that goes together. You're going to have two 2.5 by 6 millimeter screws. You're going to have two identical seats, and they are going to fasten these little brackets into the back of the seats. There will be screws provided with this option. If you don't want to use the screws, alternatively, you can glue the brackets in place. Now, the way this works, a lot of people will have their interiors done in a way with a transmission that prohibits the use of the tub, or maybe you just want to have a lighter weight option, and that's what these are intended for. So, you're going to take your top plate. You'll use the regular dashboard, not the high clearance dashboard, and then you'll use your seats with these tabs. These will simply glue in place like so. I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue to fix them on here just for now for the purpose of this demonstration. That way I can take them back off when we're done. All right, now that the seats are in place, you can see how we've got no floor underneath. And we're going to now temporarily tack the interior into the body so I can show you how this cloth floor will work. All right, now we've got this temporarily tacked in place. All you need to do is take a piece of cloth via anything, preferably something waterproof that's not going to absorb the water. And all you got to do is wrap it up around your floor. Take your hot glue gun. And tack it in place in a few spots. That way it doesn't fall out. So once you're done, you now have your interior with a full floor that hides all of your electronics and all that jazz. So that is how the no tub option works. And again, the no tub option, much lighter weight. Use a simple cloth to cover everything up. It's also pliable, so if it needs to mold itself around a transmission or whatever, it gives you that option to make fitting your body onto the final product that much easier. All right, thanks for watching.